Hello, second graders. I'm going to be reading you a book about the artist that we're learning about. His name is Henri Rousseau. This book is called Dropping In on Rousseau. It's about a little penguin that goes and visits the famous artist and learns all about him. Dropping In on Rousseau. Hello. My name is Puffer, and I am on my way to visit Henri Rousseau, the French artist. Mr. Rousseau lives here in Paris. Won't you come along and see if we can find him? Bonjour, hello. Bonjour, my feathered friend, replied the photographer, just as Puffer politely tipped his hat and lost his balance. Whoa, look out below! Flap, 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 flutter, flutter, flap. Crash, bang, bump. Phew, someday I have to take some landing lessons. Good day, sir. Could you please tell me, am I near the Paris Botanic Garden? But of course, you have landed in the Paris Botanic Garden, monsieur. The street sweeper answered. I am looking for Henri Rousseau, the artist. Monsieur Rousseau is in the greenhouse. I am on my way there now. Would you like for me to take you there? The street sweeper asked. Yes, please. That would be splendid. Mr. Rousseau, is that you, Mr. Rousseau? I am Puffer. I am here to talk to you about your paintings. Yes, yes, Puffer, I have been expecting you, Mr. Rousseau replied without looking up. One moment, please. I must add one more dab of paint on this picture. Then Mr. Rousseau exclaimed, There, tropical forest with monkeys is finished. Would you like to be the first to see my new painting, Puffer? Mr. Rousseau asked. What a wonderful painting it is, Mr. Rousseau. Please, would you tell me a little bit about it? Oh, but you tell me. What do you see in the painting, Puffer? Mr. Rousseau asked. Tropical Forest with Monkeys is a perfect title. A jungle with 5 monkeys is exactly what I see. Near the bottom of the painting is the first monkey. In the middle of the painting is the second monkey. He is the largest and he is sitting alone on a big rock. His orange fur stands out against the green jungle. How funny! He is fishing with a pole. Almost in the middle of the painting is the second monkey. This monkey is black and white. He seems to be afraid, and I think I know why. A very large snake slithers behind the red plants. Hidden high in a tree is the third monkey. He must feel safe hiding there. 2 smaller orange monkeys are in the background. They are swinging through the trees. The flowers seem to be almost as large as the monkeys. Mr. Rousseau, I have so many questions. Do monkeys fish with poles? Do all of these kinds of monkeys live in the same place? Can flowers grow to be so big? They do in my world, answered Mr. Rousseau. Mr. Rousseau packed his art supplies and picked up his painting. Come with me, Puffer, and I will show you more of my paintings, he said. My paintings are not in art museums. They are on display in my wife's little shop. As we walk, could I ask some questions? Certainly, Mr. Rousseau answered. Have you lived in Paris all your life? No. I was born in a small French village. I moved to Paris after I was a grown-up, replied Mr. Rousseau. Have you always been an artist? I loved to draw when I was a young boy. I dreamed of going to art school, but my family did not have the money for that. When I was a teenager, I joined the French army. After that, I moved to Paris. Many artists live here, said Mr. Rousseau. Mr. Rousseau suddenly stopped. What did I tell you? He excitedly asked. There are Pablo Picasso and Henri Matisse sitting on the park bench. They are 2 very famous artists that live in Paris. Bonjour, Pablo, shouted Mr. Rousseau. Bonjour, Henri, answered Mr. Picasso as he strummed his guitar. Bonjour, Monsieur Matisse, called Mr. Rousseau. Grumbled Mr. Matisse. Pablo thinks my paintings are very good, Mr. Rousseau whispered to Puffer. Monsieur Matisse does not care for my work. This is Picasso, and this is Matisse. Now, what were we talking about, Puffer? Asked Mr. Rousseau as he and Puffer continued on their way through the botanic garden. You were telling me about moving to Paris. Oh, yes. When I first moved to Paris, I worked in an office. I had little time to draw or paint. That is when I began to think more and more about being an artist, said Mr. Rousseau. Soon I found another job. I began to work in a toll booth. That's why I was called La du Noir, although that actually means customs inspector. At the toll booth, I collected coins from people as they visited Paris. The work was easy in the toll booth. I had time to draw and sometimes paint. There he is, working in the toll booth, collecting money from visitors. Ah, another famous artist, exclaimed Mr. Rousseau as he and Puffer left the garden. If you look across the street, you will see Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. Monsieur Toulouse-Lautrec often makes pictures of dancers and singers. Sometimes he makes posters that are hung all over Paris. What is Mr. Toulouse-Lautrec doing now? He must be hanging one of his new posters for the show at the Moulin Rouge, answered Mr. Rousseau. Puffer and Mr. Rousseau arrived at Madame Rousseau's shop. Josephine stood in the open door. Hello, Madame Rousseau. It is a pleasure to meet you. I'm happy to meet you too, Puffer. Come in, please, she replied. Henri and I have many paintings for you to see. Madame Rousseau pointed to a small painting. This is a carnival evening, she said. It is the first painting that Henri had in an art show. Henri was very proud to display his artwork, but some people did not understand what they saw. They laughed at the painting. What do you see in a carnival evening, Puffer? Madame Rousseau asked. First, I see that this is a nighttime in a forest. There are no leaves on the tall, dark trees. A white and pink fog is low in the sky. Above the fog is a blue sky with stars and a full moon. Then I see a man and woman dressed in white costumes. They are standing together in the front of the forest. They look as if they are puppets on a stage. What is this place? Who are those two people? Why are they dressed this way? Where are they going? My paintings do not always answer the questions they ask, said Mr. Rousseau. You must decide the answers for yourself. Mr. Rousseau pointed to another painting nearby. The title of this painting is The Carte of Pierre Junet. What do you see in this painting, Puffer? Mr. Rousseau asked. This is easy. In the center of the painting stands a white horse. The horse is hitched to a black wooden cart. The little cart has bright red wheels. They are perfectly round. Those big red wheels make my eyes go quickly to the people in the cart. In the little cart sit 5 people and 1 dog. This painting is almost like a family photograph. Could this be Papa Junet and his family? Uh-oh, now I see some things that are not so easy to understand. The legs of the little girl in the back seat do not seem to fit her body. And what about the dog in the street? If we saw that dog in real life, it would be teeny tiny. Why are these things this way, Mr. Rousseau? Because they have to be, exclaimed Mr. Rousseau. Paintings do not have to be the same as the real world. Madame Rousseau led the way to a large painting. Here is a mysterious painting that asks many questions. It is called The Sleeping Gypsy, he said. The painting is indeed mysterious, said Puffer. Look, in the middle of the painting stands a lion, but a barefooted lady sleeps peacefully on the ground in front of him. The lion's yellow eye is as round as the moon in the sky. His tail looks like a paintbrush. The lion's mane blows forward, but nothing else seems to be blowing in the wind. The ground looks as if it is sand, but there are no footprints in it. I wonder, could a lady sleep with a lion standing so near? Could the lion and lady walk across the sand without leaving footprints? Could the lion's mane be the only thing blowing in the wind? Madame Rousseau smiled. They can in Henri Rousseau's world. Mr. Rousseau next pointed to a different sort of painting. I call this one the football players, he said. Look closely at the man tossing the ball above his head, added Madame Rousseau. That player must be important, said Puffer. He is larger than all the other players. He is in the center of the painting and the actions point to him. Then Mr. Rousseau slyly asked, Does that player look like someone you know? Aha! It is you, Mr. Rousseau, without a beard, but you're an artist. Why would you paint yourself as a football player? That football player and I are very much the same, proudly answered Mr. Rousseau. Could the football player be a symbol to show that you are important to art, like the football player is important to sports? You are a good art observer, Puffer, replied Mr. Rousseau. Here is another jungle painting, said Madame Rousseau. Perhaps you can compare virgin forest with setting sun to tropical forest with monkeys. I will try, replied Puffer. First, I see that both paintings show a jungle with many tall plants and big flowers. Both paintings take place in the daytime, but only one painting shows the sun. Danger is in both paintings. One painting shows a snake sneaking towards some monkeys. The other paintings show a jaguar jumping towards a man. The monkeys could help one another, but there's nobody to help the man. How scary. Do not be afraid, Puffer, whispered Madame Rousseau. This did not really happen. Henri copied a photograph that he found in a book. In the photograph, a zookeeper and jaguar were playing. Henri changed the photograph so that the jaguars would seem to be dangerous. Phew, I am glad to know that, said Puffer. The clock on the wall chimed. Golly, look at the time, said Puffer. I had no idea it was so late. I must be going. Thank you for sharing your paintings with me, Mr. Rousseau, and thank you, Madame Rousseau, for your hospitality. And away I go, flap, 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 flutter, flutter, flap. Monsieur and Madame Rousseau waved au revoir as their new friend flew away. I hope that you enjoyed dropping in on Mr. Henri Rousseau. Learning about different artists and their work can tell us all about other times and places and all sorts of interesting ideas. Until I see you again, au revoir, goodbye.